Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. The future is arriving. After the grand events of Elbaf, the world of One Piece may witness the unexpected, the sixth gear, which will make Luffy immortal, just like Imu-sama. The journey of Monkey D. Luffy, from his humble beginnings as a rubber boy in the East Blue, to his current status as one of the four emperors of the sea and the embodiment of the legendary warrior of liberation, Nika, is an epic of constant growth and reinvention. Every gear that Luffy has developed represented a qualitative leap in his power, a manifestation of his creativity and his unshakable ability to defy expectations. From the second gear, which pushed his body beyond human limits, to the fifth gear, which bends reality itself with cartoon-like logic, Luffy has shown that his Akuma no Mi, the Hito no Mi, model Nika, is one of the most unique and powerful fruits in the world. However, while his power seems to have reached unimaginable heights, the idea of a sixth gear, and even more boldly, the acquisition of immortality, raises deep questions about the limits of his fruit, haki, and life itself in One Piece. If Luffy is truly destined to reach such a state, what would it be like? And why would it be necessary for the story's climax? To understand the plausibility of a sixth gear and the resulting immortality, it is crucial to revisit the evolutionary path of Luffy's gears. Each one was not merely a power boost, but a reinterpretation of how he could use his rubber body. Second gear was the first major innovation. Inspired by the techniques of CP9, Luffy learned to pump blood through his veins at extreme speed, increasing his metabolism and, as a result, his strength and speed. The steam he releases as sweat is a visible byproduct of this drastic increase in energy. Although it initially shortened his lifespan, he mastered the technique, making it a fundamental part of his fighting style. This gear demonstrated that Luffy could use his rubber physiology in non-obvious ways, manipulating his own body to achieve superior performance. Third gear, in turn, focused on destructive power. By inflating his bones with air, Luffy could turn parts of his body into gigantic weapons, such as a massive fist or leg, capable of crushing his opponents and even destroying colossal structures. The initial drawback was a reduction in his size after use, leaving him vulnerable, but this weakness was also overcome over time with mastery and the use of haki. Third gear showed that Luffy could temporarily alter his mass and density to become a giant. Fourth gear was the peak of his mastery before awakening. Developed during his training on Rusukaina, this gear involves inflating his muscles and coating them with Busashoku haki, creating an elastic yet extremely powerful form. Its variations, Boundman, Snakeman, and Tankman, demonstrated the versatility of fourth gear. Boundman is the balanced form, focused on strength and mobility, allowing him to bounce around and deliver devastating blows. It is like a wrecking ball, powerful and unpredictable. Snakeman prioritizes speed and agility with attacks that change direction mid-air, ideal for fast and evasive opponents. It is the form that adapts, striking from multiple angles. Tankman, full version, is the defensive and counterattack-oriented form, allowing him to absorb attacks and return them with massive force. It is an unshakable fortress that turns the enemy's assault into its own strength. These three gears represented Luffy's mastery over his fruit as a paramecia, combined with advanced use of haki. They were the ultimate expression of a rubber man using his body in ingenious ways. However, all of these gears shared a common limitation. They were enhancements of Luffy's physical body. They manipulated his elasticity and haki coating to increase strength, speed, defense, or range. The arrival of fifth gear was a turning point, not only for Luffy, but for the understanding of Akuma no Mi as a whole. It was revealed that the Gomu Gomu no Mi was, in fact, the Hito no Mi model Nika, a legendary mythical Zoan. This gear is not just an upgrade. It is a complete transformation into a solar deity, the warrior of liberation. Fifth gear not only amplifies Luffy's rubber properties to cartoonish levels, but also grants him the ability to manipulate the environment around him, warping reality through the logic of freedom and imagination. He can turn the ground into rubber, grab lightning bolts, and even affect his opponents' bodies as if they were rubber themselves. The exhaustion that follows fifth gear is a reminder that even as a deity, Luffy's body is still human, but the freedom he experiences is unprecedented. Fifth gear represents the deconstruction of the laws of physics. Luffy becomes a living caricature, a being that defies gravity, pain, and expectations. If fifth gear is already such a radical manifestation of freedom, what would remain for a sixth gear? What would be the next boundary to be broken? The answer suggested by this theory is immortality. The concept of immortality in One Piece, precedents and implications. Immortality is not a foreign concept in the universe of One Piece. On the contrary, it is one of the most coveted and feared abilities, and has already been established as a real-life possibility. The most direct evidence of literal immortality comes from Trafalgar Law's Ope no Mi. This fruit, in the hands of a master user, can grant the perennial youth operation, which bestows eternal life upon a person at the cost of the fruit user's own life. This is not merely longevity. It is the suspension of aging and natural death. The existence of this operation proves that physical immortality is achievable in One Piece, albeit at an extremely high cost. If a paramecia like the Ope no Mi can accomplish this, what might a legendary mythical Zoan like the Hito no Mi, Model Nika, be capable of achieving in its final form? Beyond the Ope no Mi, there are examples of extreme longevity that, while not true immortality, demonstrate the ability of certain beings to live for centuries. The giants, with their life expectancy of hundreds of years, and Dr. Kuroha herself, who is over 140 years old and still an active, energetic doctor, show that the human or humanoid body can be exceptionally resilient. There is also the regeneration of certain mythical Zoans, such as Marco the Phoenix. His Akuma no Mi allows him to heal from nearly any wound with his blue flames, making him extremely difficult to permanently incapacitate. While he can be defeated, his recovery ability is a form of near immortality in combat. Luffy's fifth gear has already shown a kind of accelerated recovery in which he bounces back from devastating attacks with laughter, like a cartoon character. Could this comedic regeneration be the seed of true immortality? Finally, the concept of conceptual or spiritual immortality through inherited will and the reincarnation of figures such as Joy Boy suggests that the essence of certain individuals can transcend time and death. Luffy, as the current manifestation of Nika and the reincarnation of Joy Boy, already possesses a form of immortality in his spiritual legacy. However, the theory of a sixth gear and immortality proposes physical immortality, something that would make him invulnerable to death on the battlefield. Fifth gear, as the form of Nika, the sun deity, is the main catalyst for the idea of immortality. Deities in mythology are often immortal or extremely resistant to death. Nika as a god. The very idea of Nika being a god suggests an existence that transcends mortal limits. If Luffy has become the manifestation of a god, even if it is a god of freedom and joy, it is not inconceivable that this divine state could grant him attributes such as immortality. Gods, by definition, do not die like mortals. They can be defeated or weakened, but their essence endures. Luffy's resurrection during the fight against Kaido, when his heart began to beat again to the rhythm of the drums of liberation, is a strong indication that his body, in this form, operates under different rules. He quite literally came back to life after being declared dead. Imagination as a manifesting force. The power of fifth gear is Luffy's ability to turn imagination into reality. If Luffy can imagine the world around him as rubber, why could he not imagine his own body as unbreakable, indestructible, incapable of dying? He could imagine his own regeneration to a point where any wound is instantly repaired, or that his body is so flexible and resilient that it simply cannot be permanently destroyed. Cartoon logic already allows him to absorb blows that would kill anyone else and recover instantly with laughter. This is the essence of a cartoon character's invulnerability, a kind of comedic immortality. Sixth gear could be the manifestation of this invulnerability in a more controlled and conscious form. The drums of liberation. The rhythm of Luffy's heartbeat in fifth gear, known as the drums of liberation, is something the world government fears. This rhythm seems to be the very source of Nika's power. If these drums are Nika's life force, could they sustain Luffy's life indefinitely? Could this rhythm be a kind of perpetual engine that prevents his body and soul from shutting down, effectively making him immortal as long as the drums continue to beat? The sun god and solar energy. In some mythologies, solar deities are linked to life, energy, and renewal. If Nika is a sun god, could there be a connection to solar energy, granting Luffy an inexhaustible source of vitality and healing ability? Sunlight, in many cultures, is seen as a symbol of eternal life and regeneration. Luffy in fifth gear is radiant, almost like the sun itself. Could this be a clue to one of his most latent abilities? The existence of the perennial youth operation, performed by the Ope no Mi, not only proves the possibility of immortality, but also establishes a precedent within the world of One Piece. If a paramecia can grant such power, it is logical to speculate that a mythical Zoan, especially one as legendary and feared by the world government as the Hito no Mi, Model Nika, could possess a similar or even superior ability to grant a form of immortality, perhaps through a different mechanism. The sixth gear could be the final state of mastery over the Neka fruit, the moment when Luffy transcends the last limitations of his body. Fifth gear, despite its overwhelming power, has a notable weakness: exhaustion. Luffy cannot maintain the form for long periods and suffers a massive energy crash after intense use. A sixth gear, therefore, could be the stage where Luffy finally overcomes this exhaustion. Immortality here would not only be the inability to die, but also the ability to maintain a state of limitless power and eternal vitality, eliminating fatigue as a factor. It would be the form in which Nika's energy is truly unlimited and self-sustaining. How would sixth gear be achieved? It could be through a level of haki that intertwines even more deeply with the mythical Zoan, allowing total control over the manifestation of Nika and its energy. Or it could be activated in a moment of ultimate desperation, when Luffy's will to liberate the world reaches such a peak that he forces his body and his fruit into a state that defies death itself. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.